like in 2012, I want to say.
Really? 8 years ago was the last time we saw each other?
Yeah. Because at first I thought it was high school, but no, it
Well,
was.
I also saw you and Ahmad at a John Bellion concert in Virginia.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if that was
Whoa.
before or after,
Whoa, that's true.
but that
At
might have been around the
Empire.
same. That might have been around that same pocket, regardless.
Yeah. Whoa, I forgot about that show.
All right, welcome back, everybody. I'm here today by candlelight with another one of my very talented friends, Isaac Valens. So you're pretty much Isaac Valens now.
Yeah.
It was because it was IV for a little bit, and then you stretched it
Yeah.
out a little bit more.
Wow. Throwback Thursday. Yeah. Some people still call me IV, but yeah.
I like the Valens. I like the additional Valens to the end.
Dude, it's
um,
funny because even on legal paper, I feel like a lot of people think that's my actual last name.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's like actors have like different names that people think are their real names. It's the same kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Um, anyways, Isaac is out in. Are you in LA? Specific
Yeah.
out in LA. Insanely talented producer. Um, just first of all, you have a long track list of music you've worked on. I guess recently, "Lose the Child" and "Drew Love Song" was probably your biggest one as of recent, right? That wasn't even that too long ago,
Yes. Yeah. I feel like
or at least
I feel
recent
like
in terms of
there's
like
like
it was released.
there's yeah, I feel like it's tough to say right now because I like yes, just like in different capacities because the Ali Brooks song that just came out was number one Latin iTunes, but it also hit like 13 on like Billboard Latin digital sales. And I think it's playing on the radio here. So I don't know like what determines which one's bigger, but yeah.
Well, one of those two.
One of those two.
Either of those two. So Isaac just worked with a artist, Kai, and the song actually dropped today. Was it midnight? It's called "In the Now."
I choose you, so I'm not fucking thinking about you, and I'm not working out, yeah. You and me in the now with you. I wanna be in the now with you.
Very cool song. Well, before we get into it, I guess let's light these bad boys. What kind of candle are you rocking with?
Um, so it's like a really cool like birthday candle that is like your birthday. Like
What does that mean?
no, like it gives like the info on like your birthday, like your number and like the planet that rules like your moon and like your strengths and like weaknesses.
Oh wow! So
Like an
it's like
astrology candle.
it's for
Yeah.
your birthday.
Yeah.
What does it smell like?
Like vanilla vibes. Getting vanilla vibes.
It's a birthday
Yeah.
candle.
Birthday candles.
That's awesome. Well, there you go. Celebrate your birthday every time you light it. Um, so yeah, the song by Kai called "In the Now" released today, which is really cool. Which is why I texted you or hit you up yesterday, being like, "Let's talk about it today" because it just came out, and I know we've been waiting on that for a little bit. For those who don't know, Kai, seems like she's been a very successful songwriter in recent past. I mean, she's got credits with Jessie J, Jack U, Diplo, and then the song with Flume, the "Never Be Like You" song. That was a big song. Never be like you. Like that's a big song.
Please just look me in my face. Tell me everything's okay. 'Cause I got it. Ooh, never be like you.
Like people
Yo,
know
I'm
that
so
song.
glad you did that. Yo, yes.
That was a big song. So that's cool. So I guess before we dive into the actual song, have you worked with her before? How did that relationship get going?
So my publisher Ben Madahi. He emailed me one day and I guess added us both and was like, hey, you guys should link and just like kind of meet up and see if you guys could make some music together. And so one day I like texted her back, uh, hey, like, yeah, like, let's meet up. And at first, like, there was always like things in the way of us meeting up. And she didn't really know like who I was or what I did. Cause at the time it's like, you know, she was working with really big producers and
Yeah, she's worked with some big people. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, obviously didn't have those accolades. So I'm like, oh, you know what? She might just like bail. But I guess something drew her to just finally one day be like, hey, you know what? Like, I'm actually in LA. Cause she kept, every time I would hit her up, she was like at the airport, either about to go somewhere or just coming back. She's like, oh, like, I can't meet up. But one day we finally did. We played each other music. And I think there was just like instant vibes. Like we just understood each other musically. She was playing me all the music she was working on with like Dima and Danger. And I was like, wow, this shit is like crazy. And like, I was also at first like, this is not like the usual like Kai associated electronic music.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved it. I was like, wow. Because at first I was a little scared. I was like, I don't really make, like I can, but I'm not like an electronic like dance producer.
Sure. Yeah.
And I was mostly making like alternative R&B vibes, which is what she was on. So I was like, whoa, this is perfect. And then we honestly just like became really good friends before we even started making music. And then the first song we ever did, we did it through iMessage. Like I sent her a piano loop. She texted me back like a voice memo over the piano loop. And then we just sent each other videos through iMessage on like edits.
That's impressive. So how important is it to you with artists that you work with having a relationship? Does it have a huge impact, or is it at this point where you're a full-time professional where you're just like, I can work with anybody at any time?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's extremely important. I feel like at first I didn't think it was because I thought
it's a business.
I thought if you had a publisher or manager, like as a producer, you could just send out tracks.
Yeah.
Or you could just show up because like a label and like someone's team could put you together and then you just show up and you do your job. And then you might establish a friendly connection. But I've learned, especially with Kai, that having a personal relationship is like huge. Yeah. Because it builds the stories to the songs as well. Because as a producer, I feel like I'm more of a therapist than like a music creator a lot of times.
Ooh, that's a sick. That should be your bio on your Instagram or your Twitter. A musical therapist. Musical therapist. I just speaking of relationships, I don't really know many people who don't like you or you don't have a good relationship with. So I guess that question's kind of flawed in the sense that I'm sure there's not many people that you work with that you're not become friends with or whatever, at least afterwards.
I mean, there are a lot of people I'm not friends with. Like, it's just because, you know, just like in any field, even if it's not a professional business, you're going to find people that are not your vibe or you're not their vibe. I feel like the people that I am friends with, that I'm really close to, that I do make music with, I'm blessed to have. But that's after like over 100, like, what are they called? Like, blind dates or whatever. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people that don't like me.
Whatever. Who are we to judge? So let's pop into this song again. Just released today. Congratulations.
Thanks.
It's doing well, I assume? At least like on Spotify. Yeah. I don't know if you.
I have a list of. Kai actually told me that she got an email with a lot of the new Music Fridays that it hit internationally.
Sick. Yeah.
And then it hit this really cool like Japanese playlist about like being still, I think, which I think is great. And then it got like Amazon's like brand new music, which is like their new music Friday.
Yeah. Awesome.
Um, so
That's
yeah,
great to hear, man. I mean, I see a lot of stuff on Twitter, but I also follow you, and so I guess I see it regardless. Um, so I have like a couple things to go through, like as a song, and just interested of like where you came up with that idea,
yeah.
that kind of stuff. So the song starts like staticky. You have like that little short introduction where it's like kind of staticky. It's kind of like a record player or something. Was that an idea from you, or did that come from her? Where did that come from?
Okay, so that was really awesome, and it's part of the story of the song. So
Great question. Go ahead.
yeah, I so it was around like 4-5 a.m. and I was just like making beats. We were like making music at our apartment, and it got really late. It was like 4 or 5 a.m. and I was on the floor making beats next to like her fireplace, and she was on the couch like passed out because she usually likes to freestyle mumbles, and so she's singing passed out, and I make this beat, and after a while she starts humming, and I grab my phone and I start recording her hums. So I'm
Does she know you're
recording her
doing that?
hums to the beat. Yeah, so she's like half asleep, and I like get up as close as I can, like without disturbing her. I'm just like,
Yeah.
and she's singing these hums, and I go over to the fireplace, and I record the crackles of the fireplace.
Oh, that's so cool. So that's what that little staticky noise
So
is
then
really
I
coming from.
blend that and I tune it like on software, and I blend it with like the track, and I put a filter on the track. So all of that soundscape from the intro is literally like her first going through ideas, which actually I think it's the outro, but I chopped up some of that for the intro. But yeah, that's what the intro and the outro are.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Dude, that's so cool. I mean, this is like why I like having these conversations, because like nobody would ever know that. Like, and you would probably never say that to anybody. So
Yeah.
um so throughout the, I guess, beat in the background there's like a plucking.
Lately been trying to quiet my mind. Is it real? Is it right? Is it wrong? Is
that violin? Is it a guitar? Is it like
Yeah,
a
so
harp?
it
Like what
was,
is that? What instrument is that?
yeah, my homie, which I produce a lot of records with, his name's Jacob Ray. I was going through, so I have tons and tons of raw files. And I usually just chop up things that I like either record or play or find. And I guess like I found these guitars, which later on I was like, oh my God, it's Jacob. And I just chopped them up, and they kind of sound harpy because I didn't want it to sound like a guitar, but I wanted something like steady to.
I don't think it does.
Yeah, see, that's the thing.
My first instinct was that it's like somebody's plucking a violin, and then I was like, well, maybe they threw a harp in there just to be cool, but like
Right.
it obviously could be a guitar, but it doesn't necessarily sound like that, especially at first.
Yeah, no, I think, yeah, that's cool. It's funny because he didn't even recognize that part, and I was like, yeah, like I took like some guitars you played and like pitched them around and chopped them to make them sound super weird. And
Yeah.
I did that with a lot of other things actually in the chorus. Like a producer last night, when the song dropped, DM'd me, and he was like, yo, like I really love that electric guitar that hits in the chorus. And actually, since we're in the topic of sounds, it's actually like a filtered talk box that I like harmonized. So
that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I like to take instruments that you would think are something else, and like I manipulate it. I don't ever want it to sound exactly like it unless it calls for it. Like sometimes you need a guitar in a song, but if like you don't and you want to get weird, which Kai loves to get weird, which is one of the many things I love about her, it's like, yeah, manipulate until it sounds like so strange.
Well, where did that come from? Was that something that you did like at the very beginning when you started making music, or is that just something you kind of developed over time?
Kind of.
Like, I mean, like the desire to make things sound
Yeah,
differently than there.
kind of. I think now a lot of the times it's not as intentional, but when I was starting to produce, one of my mentors when I was younger, shout out to Colin Fotia, he we would be in the studio and he would show me that like you can make sound out of anything. Like he would grab like anything, like I don't know, he would grab like this and just like hit it against the microphone and be like, you can make like hi-hats out of that if you EQ it a certain way, or like you can grab a bunch of keys and just drop them on a snare drum
Yeah.
and it'll sound crazy.
Have you
So I
seen
think I
that?
learned a lot.
Have you seen that stupid Netflix movie with Zac Efron where he's like trying to become a DJ and he like staples the house and he's like recording himself like stapling a house and stuff? They make it really corny, but like you talking about it sounds a lot cooler than friggin' Zac Efron on a movie doing all this stupid shit. But that's exactly what he was talking about. So that's pretty funny.
I haven't, but that's cool. Yeah, I'm definitely not the only one that does this, but yeah.
No, I'm sure there's thousands and thousands of people who do it. I mean, everybody does. I feel like in the music world, especially for producers, a lot of people do the same thing differently. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Everybody has their own little tweak on things. So the synths, I guess I'm assuming there's synths throughout the song like that.
So I'm not gonna think about you, and I'm not working out, yeah.
So when you're making the song, and I even read in Kai's like bio on Spotify, she started off as like a folk music person with player, like singer with a guitar and everything. And now she's morphed more into like a darker pop electronica type of feel. So when you're like making this song specifically with her, did you have like that? And you said earlier that you were vibing with her like right away. Did you have like that dark kind of electronical thing in mind, or is like that whole synth thing that replays something that came first, or is that something that you like threw in afterwards?
So it's interesting. I don't usually go for synths, at least not when I started working with her. And actually the first song wasn't very synthy. It was more organic. But within the Now, I was very intentional as a producer to morph the worlds of what people know her from, and also the new sound that she has been envisioning for herself as we were working. So we were working towards this new sound that she was like, because she's always been a soul person. Like all her original videos that I watched before I even met her and before she was even Kai, as we all know her, she was just doing, like you're saying, like more acoustic songs that were like super soul, not electronic at all.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, you know what? I'm going to take that essence, which she wants to bring back, and I'm going to take the essence of what people know of, like, you know, Never Be Like You or Mind or Revolution, which is more electronic, morphin. So yeah, with that synth, I was thinking like, okay, people kind of associate some fresh electronic aspect to her. So I'm going to do that, but in a way that still feels like soulful and like true to her.
And to an extent, true to yourself too. I mean,
yeah, I feel like though, here's the thing. I feel like as a producer, I've always thought, because I do treat myself as an artist a lot, but I've always thought like I have to have a sound. But I'm actually glad you say that, because I realized the most successful things I've been a part of and the best products I've been a part of, I've just surrendered to the artist's vision. And if I'm not like the biggest fan of a certain sound that the artist is, like, I know my name's going to be on it, but like at the end of the day, I'm here to serve the artist. And I feel like that's something that a lot of producers have to learn. I see a lot of up and coming producers message me a lot, and I think their ego can get in the way of the artist's vision. And ultimately, as producers, we're here to produce artists, not ourselves.
well, and so that you would circle back all the way. That makes it even more important to have that established relationship before you get into a studio, or in this case, a living room with a fireplace or whatever, and you start sit down with an artist.
Yeah,
because then you are pretty much already understand like what the finished product is, at least for the most part, going to sound like, or have a specific vibe and stuff like that. So
totally.
it's pretty important. I mean, that was great. I love these conversations.
Yeah,
it's
no,
so especially talking to a producer, like it's so cool to talk about how a song was developed from nothing.
yeah.
What else you got? Anything else in the works coming up? You got any other
There are a few releases I'm really excited about as well that are coming
anything
up.
anything you can briefly talk about, at least who the
I
projects
don't
are
know
with?
because they haven't announced it, but all I can say is that there's 2 songs that I co-produced, actually 3, holy shit, with artists I really fuck with. And I know that 2 of them are coming out in August, like mid-late August, and then the other one's coming out in September, which this is another crazy thing. It's like because of COVID and quarantine, I've had way more releases than I have in the last like 2 years. And these songs, a lot of these songs like were created a year or 2 ago.
Right.
Some of them not even with the intention of actually releasing or releasing so soon. But I feel like because like, you know, for safety, most people aren't trying to get in the studio, even though I see people that are. Like, you know, they're just releasing like what they have that they love. Because, you know, like in LA, or maybe might not, I don't know, but I guess in LA, everyone's creating every day. So it's like artists have big folders of songs. So if I'm walking in with a new artist, I'm like 1 out of like 150 for the year. And out of 150, they might like 30, and they might feel like putting out 10. And if I'm lucky to be those 10, am I going to be lucky enough to be the single? Or am I going to be lucky to be like the featured track or whatever?
Right.
So I've been very blessed and lucky to have the singles. Like I've had now within the now, it's like I've had like 3 singles released that I've produced or co-produced in the last 2 months.
Yeah.
Which usually that's
it's huge.
Yeah,
That's
usually
so
in a
awesome.
whole year you have to wait like just like spread out like January, and then maybe if you're blessed like September is the next release, and then December.
It's
I
weird
think
times.
quarantine and Corona, yeah, definitely sped up a lot of the releases.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, more power to you, man. Well, In the Now, out today by Kai, produced by Isaac Valens.
And Kai.
Oh, yeah, sure. And Kai. Check it out. Also, I know you've released a bunch of like drum sets, loops, plugins,
yeah.
all those kind of samples, all that kind of stuff. What are those called? Sample packs?
Sample packs, yeah.
He's released a bunch of sample packs, and I mean, how many? You've released 2 or 3?
Well, now it's just 2, but I have released 4. I only have 2 up publicly though on my website.
Okay. Oh, so you're out here holding out on everybody.
Yeah.
2 sample packs released if you want to check out some of his stuff. Also, he has a Spotify playlist of all the songs he's produced or been a part of, which I'll pop up on the screen so you guys can check it out too. Super talented producer out in LA. Isaac, thank you for sitting down.
Thank you, Mac.
We've gone on 10 years now on our friendship, I guess. No, more than that. 10 years is when we graduated high school. So,
yeah.
Well, when were we freshmen in high school? 2006?
Yeah, 2006, 2007.
So about 13, 14 years of BFF-age. So
yeah,
it's good to see you, man. Happy to hear everything is going well, especially with your music career.
Thanks,
and I
man.
hope it continues to keep exploding.
Thanks, man. Dude, do you think, by the way, are we going to do like a Zoom reunion for our 10 years or what?
Dude,
it's like
who knows? How ridiculous would that be? It's just like
I'm not flying home. Like, what?
Well, I'm not going to it. Can you imagine the Zoom with like 100 people who hasn't seen each other with like 10 years? Everybody's screaming at the computer. That'd be madness. There's no way.
There's no way.
All right, man. Well, as tradition, go ahead and blow this bad boy out. See you, dude. Take it easy.